with our offensive line. We're having some protection breakdowns that there's no excuse for.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Well, they're having problems. We talked about this bare front and some of these mug looks on third down. It's a bit foreign. It's something that they don't see very, very often, but they've been practicing for it all week, and early in this first quarter, it's just not good enough to allow guys running free into your backfield, hitting your quarterback.
Wilsonberry on to punt after the sack by Gelati. Coleman, the return man, calls for the fair catch at the 8-yard line for Louisville. Rivalry week continues tonight on ESPN at 7 o'clock. It'll be Florida State taking on Florida. And at 7:30 right here on ABC, #1 Georgia against Georgia Tech. I'm sure every time you see that promo of Florida State, Florida, flashbacks to your college days.
Man, back in the late 90s, a time where Seminoles went to 3 straight national championships. There was so much speed and so much NFL talent on the field and so many fights.
But like we've had today.
Like we've had today. It's happening all over the country today.
Guerrero catches a good hole as he brings it out to the 15-yard line.
Isaac Guerrero is a transfer from Wisconsin. He just looks like a Badger back, right? Just kind of at home running between the tackles. He sees a crease in the zone scheme, puts his foot in the ground, and gets up the field. We talked about how Jawhar Jordan has been a bit banged up lately. These last 3 games, Guerrero has been on fire, averaging 10 yards a carry. And he scored 5 TDs these last 3 times out.
It's a good stretch for him. 2nd and 3. He gets the work again. Met at the line by Deion Walker.
People his size are just not supposed to move as well as he does. He's like a big giant cat. He's so explosive out of his stance. You can ask South Carolina about this. Last week, the big fella had 9 tackles and a sack. I mean, he's the definition of a game record.
He had 9 tackles, 2 TFLs, and a sack in that game against South Carolina. 3rd down and 3. Plummer to pass. That was batted at the line of scrimmage as the ball falls harmlessly. So that defensive front for Kentucky.
I think that time the ball, I don't know if it was batted, Joe. I think it just slipped out of Plummer's hand as he was throwing it. It looked like he kind of wanted to kind of pull it back, and the ball just kind of came out. But finally something going Kentucky's way here, and that's good news. Their 3rd down struggles last week against South Carolina were a big reason why they lost that football game, and forcing a punt, hoping to get the ball back near midfield here. This is big for Kentucky's momentum.
Hodges has his heels on the goal line. Robinson with chance for great field position for Kentucky as he calls for the scatter at the 50-yard line, and it is down just over midfield. A good job by the Kentucky defense. We'll give their offense the ball when we. Thank you very much, gentlemen. So Jefferson met in the backfield and just tries to work his way back to the line of scrimmage. The college football playoff rankings are brought to you by Capital One.
Yeah, and rivalry week, it really just sets up for some chaos. Of course, either Ohio State or Michigan is going to drop out of the top 4 after today. And the Florida State game, without Jordan Travis, a quarterback at the Swamp against the Gators, that gets interesting. But we've seen crazy stuff happen on this weekend, year in and year out. It's so important for every team taking the field today. You got to be thinking about finishing.
Leary on 2nd and 10, batted up in the air and incomplete. Alderman had a chance at it.
Well, it was Mason Reiger who got his paw up and knocked that one down. We've seen Devin Leary time and time again get passes deflected at the line of scrimmage. Look off from the right-hand side. Reiger's there working against Jeremy Flax. Ball gets popped up, and TJ Quinn, or Jalen Alderman, the linebacker, was reaching out trying to get that interception.
And he's still down on the turf. The medical team is out to see Jalen Alderman.
This is where Kentucky's O-line has got to be better, Joe. They've given up 2 sacks on 3rd down so far.
3rd and 10 for Devin Leary and the Cats. Goes shallow underneath and then up and over for the first down.
What an effort by Kamari Anderson there on the drag route. Remember, Kentucky's down their top 2 tight ends in this game. You see 82 working the drag. Devin Leary does a nice job stepping up a bit. And how about the athleticism going up and over, understanding where the sticks are. That is a huge third down conversion, or sorry, a big play on third down early in this game.
Anderson getting the reception as Jordan Dingle, Josh Caddis are both out injured today. Jefferson gets the carry.
He's really come on for Kentucky's offense these last 2 games as well. He's a 7th-year player, had a knee injury late last season, so was granted the extra eligibility. 74-yard run against Bama late in that game. He's given this offense a little bit of a spark. Probably doesn't have the top-end speed that Ray Davis does, but we talked about disciplined running and going where the ball is supposed to go and following your blockers, and that's something that Jefferson's been doing very well these last few weeks.
Had a 74-yard run in the 4th quarter against Bama. Second and 6, Jefferson straight ahead, and he will move the chains and give a little extra fight inside the 30, where he's met by Storm Duck.
Great job by Jeremy Flax, the right tackle. He's just going to cave in this D-line right here. They get the block, and that allows Jefferson to get up. You see this big blue wall. They're physical. They weigh a lot. They can lean on you. And they're going to have to do more of that. They thought coming into this one, they really wanted to test out Louisville's front. They don't know if they've seen an offensive line as physical as them yet. They wanted to see if that could get demonstrated in this game. That's a good example there.
3 Kentucky drives now. They've gotten into Louisville territory, but still looking for the first points of the day. Play action. Leary gets it complete inside the 15-yard line as he's able to connect with Dane Key.
And a really good job that time of protection. There was a beautiful pocket here for Devin Leary to throw from. He can step up, he can get through his progressions, allow this slow developing route on the crossing route to happen. Remember, Dane Key dropped a pass similar to this earlier on a dig. This time puts it right on his chest. Devin Leary doesn't give him a choice.
16-yard reception by Key. Leary, quick strike to the outside. And Robinson is taken down at the 8-yard line.
This is a place, Joe. Louisville's defense has been so good this year. They're only allowing points on 67% of their opponent's red zone drives. That's second best in the country. They get really good when their backs are up against the wall, and right down a mass substitution for Louisville defensively, getting fresh bodies on the field, especially at D-line.
Jefferson can't find anything. Excellent pursuit by Louisville up front. Quincy Riley was the first to get to him.
Now it's third down, and this is where it's really difficult to throw the football because at this area of the field, the windows are tiny, and they open and close really fast. So for Devin Leary and these receivers, the timing has got to be critical. You cannot hesitate. You got to be able to anticipate throws. Big moment in the game.
Leary, 3rd and 6 to the end zone. What an effort to come up with it. Dane Key.
And that's a great example of anticipation by Devin Leary. He throws this ball way before Dane Key up top is running the fade. Freeze it right there. Look at this. That is a tremendous job pre-snap, understanding where he's going to go with the football, and how about the location of that throw? Putting it out in front of the 6'3" target, who time and time again this year has been able to use his size to his advantage. Big body slants, stick routes, and now the fade. You just simply cannot execute that play any better than what Kentucky did right there.
Alex Rayner on for the extra point. That'll tie the game. And Kentucky would
before the game, if I was getting ready to play a guy that was any way, shape, or form a combination of any of that, you're right, Katie. This guy is a very, very special talent. A diamond in the rough that Mark Stoops and his coaching staff were able to find out of the Detroit area. And boy, man, that has really paid off for their defense.
Guerrero from the 5-yard line on the return. And it's a good return by Guerrero as he keeps his balance out past the 40-yard line. Tomorrow on Sunday NFL Countdown, all access with Mahomes and Stroud mic'd up, and top plays from backyard turkey bowls across the country. It's 10 Eastern on ESPN. Monday Night Football's Bears and Vikings, 8 Eastern on ESPN and ABC.
Joe, you know the Bears have lost 12 straight against division opponents.
Wow.
Justin Fields coming back from the dislocated thumb on his throwing hand. Looked pretty good his last time out, throwing and running. Should be a fun one to watch.
Jordan almost got to the corner, but was chased down that time by Wallace.
We were talking about Deion Walker, Joe. He's only a true sophomore.
Yes.
He's not draft eligible yet, but you know in today's era of college football with the portal, everybody is going to be coming for this guy this offseason. And Mark Stoops and his coaching staff are very aware they're going to have to scratch and claw and re-recruit to keep this guy in a Kentucky uniform.
And they're the ones that did everything right. They recruited him, they found him, they've developed him, and they've coached him to be an all-SEC player, and now you got to hope to retain him.
You know, guys, I found it interesting. Walker told me he got up to 360 pounds last season, so dropping weight was his focus this offseason. He said he wanted to be able to play extended drives, 14, 15-play drives, so he could stay in and help his team. He lost 30 pounds conditioning twice a day. He cleaned up his diet. He says he's playing at 332 right now, feels really good, and Brad White said you can see how nimble he is on his feet. Dropping that weight was huge.
Just made that last tackle. Brad White says when he's at his best, he is the best defensive lineman in the country. 3rd down and 3. Plummer wants more than 3, and he's able to get it to Coleman. Flag is down at the 32-yard line. Andrew Phillips had coverage against Coleman.
Yeah, Coleman's out with the slot, working the corner route. Does a nice job stacking and getting over top. And nice job, too, by Plummer, putting a lot of air
on
under
the defense prior to the pass being thrown. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is the first down.
So Plummer's dropping back, and he knows where he wants to go with it, and he's got to put air under this thing to allow his receiver to locate it. You see the fighting that was going on downfield, one-on-one. You see that great release, a little bit of a tug there on the jersey by Phillips, and it's an explosive play for Louisville's offense.
29 yards to Coleman. Play action. Plummer pressured as he throws it, and it goes incomplete. And guess who? Big Deion Walker, and you see the effect he has on Plummer.
Well, Deion Walker's working one-on-one against the center, Brian Hudson, and it's really not a fair matchup. You see that, just be able to kind of shrug him off. He gets home. And any quarterback, man, you got a 350-pound person who's listed at 350 falling on top of you. That's not going to feel good.
Explosive, disruptive, dominating defensive lineman is Walker. 2nd and 10. Jordan nowhere to go. Tackled for a loss by De'Aaron Jackson.
You know, it's amazing too, Joe.
Flag is down at the end of the play. See the frustrations with Maxwell Hairston, the cornerback for Kentucky.
There was some fighting going on with Hairston and a receiver.
Chris Bell.
Yeah.
Chris Bell, who threw a punch on the opening kickoff of this game and was penalized.
During the play, personal foul, illegal hands to the face on the offense number 7. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay second down.
It's not quite Charles Woodson versus David Boston back in 1997, but I mean it was a little bit of that. It's Hairston at corner going up against Chris Bell, exchanging pleasantries.
Chris Bell's been in the middle of a lot today.
Yeah, he's feeling it.
So it's 2nd and 25 after the 15-yard penalty. Only the second flag of the game, both against Louisville.
Well, we talked about how in games like this, you've got to be able to handle and control your emotions. The coaching staff for Louisville, Jeff Brom, they've got to get Chris Bell under control.
The penalty is enforced from the previous spot. It is second down.
Coach Brom, 52 years old, of course a legend here. Came back home, and that fit has been just about perfect. Patchworking this team with 25 transfers and sitting here at 10-1, going to play for the ACC championship. Plummer on 2nd and 25, just trying to extend the play, and then runs out after a gain of 2 yards.
All right, so here's another big third down now for this Kentucky defense. We talked about South Carolina. There was 4 critical 3rd and longs that they gave up. That was a big reason why they ended up losing that game. They have to find ways to get off the field. In this situation, you just wonder for Louisville if it's kind of no man's land. If you don't get it here, you're going for it anyway on 4th. Necessarily have to throw to the sticks here if they're intending to go for it.
23, 3-man rush. They drop 8. They do go underneath. It's a minimal gain as he hits Kariski.
But it makes 4th down a lot more manageable now if that's in fact what you're going to do. And they've had some things happening here at kicker the last couple weeks.
Yeah, Travelstead was the starting kicker. Last week at Miami, he was replaced in the second half, and now they will bring him out for this attempt. Nick Lopez came in the second half last week and earlier today. So Travelstead gets a chance at redemption. 46-yard attempt. Great rotation, and a target line kick breaks the tie. Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky. Number 10, Louisville up 10-7 against Kentucky. Darian Brown from the end zone on the return. Brown full throttle out past the 30 and spinning his way to the 33-yard line. Aflac trivia question. We asked you, both Kentucky and Louisville, Jesse, they have a quarterback in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Who are they?
Johnny Unitas.
Well, that's, yeah, I mean, you got the statue.
That's the obvious one. His name is right in front of me here in the stadium. Right beside Lamar Jackson's. Do you know who the Kentucky Hall of Fame QB is? Joe.
I think I got a shot if we go way back in time.
All right.
Devin Leary, man in his face as he delivers and is able to get it to Bates.
This is fantastic by Devin Leary. Under duress, he's got Jared Dawson right in his face, and a tight end on a crossing route that has to work around a defender. You want to talk about under duress throwing into a small window. Devin Leary, I know he got off to a slow start in this game, but these last 2 drives now, he has really found a beautiful rhythm.
Leary, off play action, plenty of time, threw it into traffic looking for Brown, but Riley was closing on it.
Well, I think Leary's success here in these last 2 drives is changing Liam Cohen's approach to calling this game, where they're not running the football like they thought they would on first down, instead throwing it on first down because they trust Devin Leary in his decision-making. That last one almost got away from him. But it's so important for Liam Cohen in this offense. They still need to have balance. They know they have to establish the run, no doubt, and be physical. But Louisville has to be afraid of their ability to throw it up top. And this play action right now is starting to open things up a little bit for the Wildcats.
Interesting to see Liam Cohen down on the sideline, usually up in the press box as the offensive coordinator. Tackled for a loss is Ray Davis. Brought down immediately as that offensive line gave way to Dawson again.
Yeah, I think it's Jared Dawson inside, a D tackle, just getting tremendous push inside here. Penetration, Ray Davis never had a chance. That negative play now setting up 3rd down. This is where Louisville likes to mug a linebacker right over top of the center and bring the pressure.
Ron English, the defensive coordinator, his Cards defense with 5 tackles for loss. Third and 12. Leary pressured again, has to check down to Davis, and Davis only able to get a few yards back against Storm Duck, who forced him out.
Cameron Wilson got early pressure and it forced the ball out of Devin Leary's hands early. Louisville in a big defense, making sure they just keep the ball in front. They rally to Ray Davis to make a tackle and force the punt.
Timeout is going to be used by Louisville. As to the Aflac trivia question, got to go back in time just a little bit. You knew Johnny Unitas, the Hall of Fame quarterbacks. But who's the other one? George Blanda.
Wow.
George Blanda, who played for Bear Bryant back in the day.
He was a legendary punter.
He was.
Or a kicker for the Raiders.
Yeah, absolutely.
Raiders,
There's
right?
Johnny U there.
You can tell who that is just based on the haircut.
Yeah, the haircut says it all.
Yeah.
Listen, this has been a very interesting year for Louisville, and I think it's a team that they get some come from behind wins.
Yeah.
They start believing, and because of that, you play better and better and better.
You know, I think from an eye test standpoint, when you've watched Louisville play too, you wouldn't say they've been consistently
no doubt.
dominant all year by far. But at the end of the day, you got to give them credit because good teams find ways to win games. And I think you're right, Joe. As the season's gone on and they've found those ways, the confidence has just continued to build.
Barry punting for Kentucky. Coleman's the return man. Ball is inside the 5, and it bounces into the end zone. 2.5 minutes to go before halftime. 3-point margin.